Hello, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss another constraint of SQL, which is foreign key. So as we have already discussed about two keys, primary keys and unique key, in the same manner, there is one more concept of keys, which is foreign key. So what is foreign key? Foreign key is used to establish a relationship between two tables. So let's say if there is one table which is having some field which is common in another table also. So there is one common field in both the tables, and on the basis of that particular field we will build some relation between the table, so that whenever we are inserting any data it should maintain that relationship of the tables. Okay, so for foreign key, like there is two terms which is most commonly used, which is parent table and child table. So what is parent table and what is child table? Child table is a table where we are declaring the foreign key. So let's say if there are two tables, table 1 and table 2. In table 2 I am declaring foreign key. So in that case the table 2 will be considered as a child table. But from table 2 we are accessing the primary key of table 1, or you can say we are referring the table of 1 for its primary key. Then in that case table 1 will be considered as a primary parent table. Okay, so it is clear. In short, you can say that where we are declaring the foreign key is the child table, and from where we are taking the reference is the parent table. Okay, so this is all about the foreign key concept. And one more thing, like you can declare multiple foreign key. It is not limited that in case of primary key there was one restriction that we have to create only one primary key in a table. But here in case of foreign key you can create multiple foreign key. Fine. So let's see the example that we have already created, like how we are declaring the foreign key here. So in the same program I will declare both the tables, foreign parent table and child table. So let's see. Firstly we are declaring the constant, which is SQL state underscore valid with 5 times zeros. Then we are setting the commitment control as star none to make the changes, and then we are creating the first table. So this is the parent table. Why? Because here I am not declaring any foreign key. So syntax is quite simple. Create or replace table customers. First field is customer ID of primary key of integer type, and customer name is of varchar 50. So it is mandatory that there should be one common field in both the tables. If it is not there, then you are not then you are not supposed to create the foreign key. Okay, so this is the primary table, because this customer ID we will refer from the foreign key or the child table. So once this table is created, we will check for SQL state. If it is valid, then we will show table created successfully. If it returns 01567, then it will be considered that table is created but not journaled, and in else condition we will just show the SQL state and give the message query ended with an error. Now below to this we are declaring the child table. So simple syntax exec SQL create or replace table orders. First field is order ID integer primary key, second field is order number varchar 20, and third field is customer ID. So you can see these are the common field, means customer ID was there in customer table also and in order table also. So it is not required to keep the same name, but I would recommend you to use the same name so that it would be easy for you to understand, like this is the common field. Otherwise you can keep any name, it is not an issue. Okay, but for now we will go with the same name to make it very clear. Okay, now how to add foreign key to this particular field? So for that you can use this keyword foreign key, and here you can pass the key name on which you want to make the foreign key. So I'm making it as customer ID. So whatever the field name you have set here, you can pass it here, customer ID. References, from which table you are taking a reference, just put the table name, which is customers, and for which field of the customer table you are using. So we are using customer ID. So by adding this line, it will consider this customer ID as a foreign key, which is so mandatory thing is that there should be one common field in both the tables. Otherwise you are not supposed to use foreign key. Then we are checking for SQL state. If it is valid, it will print the message table created successfully. If it returns 01567, then we will give the message table created but not journaled. Else condition, we will print the message with a SQL state and with an error message, query ended with an error. Then end if and INR equals to star on. So let's compile this table, call this table. So it returns table created but not journal. That is fine. Both time it returns same because we haven't journaled the table yet. Okay, fine. So now I will run the query to show you the data which is not there. This is the blank file, but it is created order ID, order number, and customer ID. Similarly, if I go with customers, then it will show the customer fields, customer ID and customer name. So customer ID is considered as a foreign key because it is common in both the tables. Fine. Now, can we perform the same operation on these table as we do in normal table? No, there are some rules. If you are using foreign key, then there are some rules of insertion, there are some rules of deletion as well as updation. That thing we will discuss in upcoming session, like what are the different ways or different rules are there that we have to fulfill without performing any operation on the foreign key table. Okay, so and one more thing, like for few scenarios we need some access which is not available in pub 400 server, so it might we are not able to run those scenarios, but I will explain you theoretically. So whenever there is an access for you, you can try the same and it will work as expected. Okay, so we will create some theoretical portion to understand this concept, and whatever the thing we can perform, we will try to perform that. Otherwise we will discuss over theoretically. Okay, for a short note, I can give you one small example of foreign key. Let's say if there is one table for college table where we are storing the student ID and student name in first table, and student ID and book name, you can consider the second table as the library table. So where it is mentioned that in table 1 we have mentioned 123 as a ID and name is user1, and in second table ID is 123 and book name is rpgle. Okay, so what it indicate that 123 username user1 has taken the book rpgle, because in both table there is a relation of 1 to 3 that this user has taken the book of rpgle concepts. Okay, so what will happen, let's say if I have mentioned that 1 to 3 has book, but in actual table, in the parent table, if I delete that thing 1 2 3 id, then will it work? No. Why? Because in the table which is dependent on the parent table has some limitations, has some restrictions, because if we delete the parent table data, then it will affect the child table data. So that's why we are not supposed to perform direct operations on these tables. So that we will discuss in deep in the upcoming sessions. So far we just discussed how we can create foreign key and what is parent table, what is child table. So yeah, in the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.